Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Manny Pacquiao returns after nigh on 4 years out and a defeat to Yordenis Ugas. Unanimous, clear defeat, I thought. He returns 6 years after his last victory, which was a split decision win over Keith Thurman, in which he put Thurman down in the first round. And again, another close competitive fight, but yeah, I thought he won it. Well, he gets a draw after all that time, at the age of 46, against Mario Barrios. And Barrios, the WBC welterweight champion, you don't need me to tell you about Pacquiao, do you? But let's just say that in this fight, Pacquiao fought just about as well as anyone could have expected, and just about as well as any 46-year-old who hadn't had a fight for 4 years can do. He looked visibly older in the face, but when you get a fighter of that age, especially one coming back from such a ludicrously long layoff, you might get little flashes of brilliance. In the case of Pacquiao, I'm not going to be ridiculous and say that he's this was prime Pacquiao, because it wasn't. But at the age he is, the performance he put on, you were getting entire cameos, maybe even minutes, maybe even rounds of the Pacquiao that you remember. We all remember. Now let's talk about the result itself, because a majority draw, 2 114 114s and one 115 113. Max DeLucas was the 115 113, and that was to Barrios. A lot of people are saying this was ridiculous. Pacquiao won this fight. Look, I've got to be honest with you. I didn't do a preview of this fight, but I said during Friday's live that I felt Barrios, should win most of the rounds. It would be a clear decision victory. I didn't do any breakdown or anything like that, but I just mentioned that in the live. And no one's more astounded than I am that Pacquiao performed that well. A lot of people have drawn a comparison with Sugar Ray Leonard coming back and winning a split decision over Marvin Hagler after being out he had one fight in 5 years against Kevin Howard, got floored in the process, re-retired, and then came back for Hagler and did exceptionally well. But because of sentiment, because of the crowd cheering every time Leonard did anything, Hagler was kind of forgotten about, which, with the benefit of hindsight, is just about the biggest sin you can think of, to forget Marvin Hagler. Mario Barrios is no Marvin Hagler, even the older version that Leonard fought. But he is a very capable fighter. And I felt he was definitely winning rounds. Now, is a draw a fair result? Are the people that say Pacquiao won this fight, are they correct? I'm not even going to go near the word robbery, or I just did, didn't I? But I'm sick of hearing that stupid word. Everyone uses it for every possible permutation of a result. No, the fact is 3 judges had it roughly the same, 2 114 114s, 1 115 113 for Barrios. There's no doubt Pacquiao was winning rounds. There's no doubt that he was fighting in bursts. There's no doubt he was very flashy in what he did. Whether all of his assaults landed correctly or not, not all of them did. Barrios, a very sort of unspectacular operator in the sense that he doesn't do anything brilliantly, but he does everything well. Everybody's going to overlook his jab, which was very good, on point. But here's the thing about his style, and here's the thing why Pacquiao more or less picked him as a comeback opponent, comeback world title shot, no less. One of the commentators said the problem with Barrios is that even though he's got skills, his jab is very, very good. It's not flashy to watch someone consistently land a jab, but it is a point scorer. It does win you rounds. You can win a fight just off the jab. But here's the thing. One of the commentators said Barrios has too many periods of inactivity during a fight. And that's absolutely correct, I think. Absolutely correct. there's no doubt that he was bothered by Pacquiao's speed, and Pacquiao's legs for a 46-year-old were incredible. I mean, from the off, I'd forgotten just how chunky those legs are at Pacquiao's. It's huge legs, huge calf muscles, and of course that foundation, is brilliant for leaping in and out, moving well, which Pacquiao did. But we shouldn't forget that Barrios, 5 inches tall. I think he's about 6 foot tall, which is tall for the weight, for the welterweight division. He was using that jab very well. And there were rounds, especially the last 2 rounds of the fight, where he was letting his hands go far more than he had previously. And this is probably why Pacquiao and Pacquiao's team picked him. There were too many periods of inactivity. We saw activity in the final 2 rounds, which is what you wanted, but you were thinking, where was this earlier on? Now, if you think Pacquiao won this fight, I don't have a problem with that, because I sort of, some of the rounds were difficult to score, but you usually get that with any 12-rounder. But I wasn't really scoring the fight as I was watching it. I was kind of thinking, bloody hell, Pacquiao is looking good here. And then I kind of checked myself and thought, well, hang on a minute, let's not look at what punches are landing, because they're only scoring punches. Just because the crowd cheers some sort of flashy speed doesn't mean it wins fights. It doesn't mean it scores points. And let's not negate what Barrios is doing. Barrios did way too little earlier on in the fight, but he did come on after he'd woken up after about 2-3 rounds. He did start to go to work, and he did started to find his timing and do some good work. There's no doubt the flashier, the more eye-catching stuff was from Pacquiao, but I'm absolutely opposed to people ignoring, the sort of meat and potatoes, steady Eddie stuff that Barrios was doing, or that Marvin Hagler did against Leonard, So, in the case of Leonard, shoe-shining Hagler off the ropes, but not really having any effect on him, might look great. But one big solid blow from Marvin, which had Ray retreating, was more meaningful. In this case, the one coming forward was Pacquiao, and the one boxing more was Barrios. In all honesty, I'm not avoiding the result. I genuinely didn't score this. I was too knackered because I've been up all night watching boxing. I watched it for about 8 hours in a row now, and I just sort of watched this fight as a curiosity because I thought Barrios was going to dominate and win on points, clearly. So when it began to unravel that Pacquiao was actually doing really well, I thought, oh shit, I should have scored this fight. I might go back and watch it again. And again, the overall view for me was that it was a close fight. 115, 113 to Pacquiao, I wouldn't object to. A draw, I wouldn't object to. If I watched it again, I might give Barrios a few more rounds, and I think I did, watching it casually. But there was no doubt that this was a stunning performance from a 46-year-old. Absolutely shocking. And Barrios, who is, whether it's rather unfair, but he is considered the weak link in the welterweight division. Did Pacquiao deserve this fight? No, he didn't. But when he got the opportunity, he performed, definitely. This is now 2 draws in a row that Barrios has had, because he drew with Abel Ramos. Ramos was down in the 2nd round, and I think Barrios hit the floor in mid-fight, 6th or 7th round. Now he's gone in there with an ancient Pacquiao and has got another draw. He did beat Dennis Ugas on a majority. No, it wasn't. It was a unanimous decision. He won that quite wide. He won it very widely, actually, thinking about it. And Ugas, of course, beat Pacquiao in what we thought would be his final fight. And he's beaten, he lost to unanimous decision to Keith Thurman. Gervonta Davis stopped him in 11. He's one of those, B plus fighters, Barrios, who does everything well, gives the very best in the world a lot of work, can definitely beat world-class fighters. I mean, he himself is a world-class fighter, but he's not what you'd call an elite operator. And at 30 years of age, he's probably as good as he's going to get. I'm glad he got the payday against Pacquiao. No doubt that was a big payday. It's just a shame that he's going to be disrespected for this result, because they're going to say, oh, you actually got beaten, and you got beaten by a 46-year-old Pacquiao. And, you know, there's a lot of people who start the hate machine rolling or churning because of a fighter. He's a solid pro, a good fighter. But, yeah, to some extent, I suppose he was found out. If he wasn't found out already against Abel Ramos, then he was definitely found out against a very old Manny Pacquiao. When in terms of elite level, he's not elite level. Pacquiao had enough left. He could roll back the clock just enough to give Barrios a very, very good fight and possibly beat him. But like I say, I would have to go back and score it properly, which I don't like doing. I only really like scoring fights when I'm watching them live. And I watch this not knowing the result. Now I know the result. I don't like going back and doing that sort of reviewing history almost. I'd rather just, rightly or wrongly, say my piece. Obviously, if you do, all my review videos are done like this one, seconds after I've seen the actual fight. I don't like. I like it to be raw. I don't like to, pause for thought, second guess myself, and all that. But I wish I'd scored it now. I thought, this is going to be a landslide for Barrios. Anything but. The question now is, does Pacquiao continue? Does he get a rematch with Barrios? I'll definitely be scoring that rematch, believe me. But the impression I got, I repeat, yes, Pacquiao was excellent for his age, made a believer out of me. I mean, Christ, I was really shocked. But don't overlook Barrios' work. He did a lot of good, solid work with the jab. Some nice salvos, not enough of them. Good combinations. I mean, he's 6 foot tall. What's Pacquiao, 5'6", was 5'7", or something like that. Should have done more. Should have won this fight easier. But he's not busy enough. And he just about squeezed by a Pacquiao who was inspired, I think. But let me know what you think. Are you? I mean, a lot of the experts, the pundits, have said they think this was clearly a Pacquiao win. Do you agree with that? I've got no problem with that. I think if I had scored it sensibly, I think probably I'd have had it maybe 115, 113 to Pacquiao, something like that. But I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it. But let me know what you think. Did you watch the fight? What's your opinion? How good do you think Pacquiao is, this current version? Was this a last great performance, or has he still got more to give, unbelievably, at the age he is? As for Barrios, what did you think? How would you grade him? B+, B? Overall, I'm not talking about this fight. I'm talking about the overall career. Because to me, he's been, he's got an opportunity to win a belt. He's won the belt. I don't begrudge him that. But not an elite welterweight. Anyway, comments below. Thank you very much for listening. And please like the video if you liked it, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. Yeah, it's been a marathon, isn't it? Lots and lots of boxing this weekend. But yeah, have a think about it. Leave your comments and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.